Whether you've got a colour printer or just a black printer, I've got you covered with over 20 ideas on how you can embellish these mini mason jars for your junk journals. Are mason jars still trendy? Of course they are. They're the darling of embellishments. You can make them as a tag, and you can make them as an embellishment that you glue straight onto whatever you want to use it as. And if you've got any more ideas on how you're going to use them, let me know in the comments. Hello, Donna here. In today's video, I'm sharing these printables for you to print, cut out and make, and I'll start with these two printables. So on this page 1, you've got the larger jar, which is still small, and then you've got the smaller jar, the really tiny one. You can print this out on any colour paper. So this is the colour print, of course. You can print it out on a cream paper, which I think looks pretty nice. You can print it out on blue paper. So that's these two colours. I'll talk about the weight of the paper in a minute. Now, if you haven't got a colour printer, just use colour paper. That looks beautiful printed out in just black. This one is silver, so that's like a metallic-y paper. It's got a bit of a shine to it. That looks awesome as well. And this is the same paper but in gold, and that looks pretty cool. And there it is on the cream. And if you haven't got any coloured paper, just print it out on the white. And if you've only got it in the white, I'll show you how using washi tape will give you some colour, or you can use your distress ink. I'm just going to show you some of the paper that I've used to make these mason jars. This is your everyday copy paper, and you can see that it just flops down when I pick it up. You can use it. I reckon this paper is too light to use for a tag, but if you back it with a light cardboard or packaging box, it would stabilise it. So if you only have copy paper, you can still use it, either in the white or the tea dyed. It'll look fine. So if you're going to make a tag, I'd consider using something a bit heavier. So this one here I've printed on 125 GSM. See, it's still drooping a little bit when I pick it up, but it's a little bit more weight to it than the 80-90 GSM copy paper. So that's good for embellishment, getting better for tags. This is a 200 GSM weight heavy paper, just before it turns into a cardstock. So this would be all right made into either a swing tag or an embellishment. So you'd get away with that. Then you move on up to your 250 GSM, which is better again. So your 250 GSM is going to be really good for your swing tags. You can still use it to make an embellishment and glue that straight into your book. This is about 120 GSM, and what I've done with this one is I've backed it with a sticker. So you can use this as an embellishment when you back it with a sticker, or you could back it with a tea dyed paper. You could use that as an embellishment or a swing tag. Same paper but in gold. This one here, it would also be about 120 to 150 GSM. I'm only guessing, and it's double-sided. If you found that a bit light, you could just glue that straight on your page, or if you wanted to use it as a swing tag, I'd just glue something on the back. Just use what you've got and either back it with a sticker or another piece of paper to just give it a bit more stability if you want to use it as a swing tag. So we'll get started by cutting one out. So we'll just cut out this blue one because it's the first one. So just cut right on the edge, and when you get around these little wobbly things, you don't have to cut them out perfectly. You can cut some of those, the shape of that jar off, as long as you cut away your background colour and you're just left with the black line. So that is how quick and easy the colour version is to make, and you can put whatever sticker or little words that you want to put on there. You can use your letter set on this one. This is a little box that our members only got to make. Because I'm a pattern maker, I'm making patterns like this all the time, and the members get these patterns. They get a new pattern or a new design every week. I'm sharing this pattern with you here on YouTube, but in the members area, which is a paid subscription, if you heard of Patreon, it's a little bit like that, only it's got a few more features. So if you're interested in becoming a member and getting goodies like this every week, come and check us out. So now I've got that cut out. What I'm going to do on this one is just add one of these rub-ons. I'm only going to do one word. I'm not going to do anything over the top because it'll take me too long. And I've personalised that to how I want that one to be. So what I'm going to do on this plain white one is I'm going to use some washi tape. I'm just going to put washi tape over the top of this jar, and using my craft knife, I'm going to cut away the washi tape on the lid area only. And I'm only cutting lightly to cut the washi tape. Be careful not to cut all the way through to your tag. Then all you got to do is peel the washi tape off the lid. Now if you want the washi tape to cover your lid in your jar, you just leave the whole lot on and then just cut all the way around the edge of your jar with your scissors. Okay, let's cut out one of the coloured ones. So I'm going to embellish it with another piece of washi tape. You just fussy cut out your washi tape and you can put that in your jar. This one here I'm just going to do in the silver, and I'm going to use a sticker on the back because this is a paper about 100 to 125 GSM, and just peel off your sticker and put it in place. Now when you cut this out, this is either firm enough for an embellishment or a tag. So you can go ahead and embellish the front however you like. On this colour printable, there's a little flower. So you can cut the flower out and use it as an embellishment. You can put that on your jar, on the lid. You can put it down on the jar front. You can do the same with the butterfly. If you print out a few different colours of paper, you're going to be able to use a variety. So once you've got your background on, just grab anything and everything you've got in your stash and just start placing it on your jar. Let's have a look at the gold. I've got some gold. It's like a lace, but it's a sticker. It's not even a washi tape. It's just a sticker. The colour matches really well, actually. Decide where it's going to go. But that's a start of a good background. Now I'm going to put that away in my box so that later on when I'm looking for an embellishment, I've got the background, which is going to give me something to work with later. So if you've got any white rub-ons and you haven't been able to use them, try printing out on a colour and put the white on the colour. Now another thing I've been doing is adding a little bit of string or ribbon to the top of the jar. I really use these boxes a lot. They're so good. I don't just use them for my little photo slides. I've got my butcher's twine in here. I might go the orange on this one. And I'm just going to wrap it around. I'll leave a tail. You only want something very fine for this one. You tie a bow. So this one here, I would not wrap it around. I'd just tie it or even glue it. You've got a little jute one as well. They look adorable with a bow on them. So if you haven't got any butcher's twine, just save your string off your swing tags off your clothing, or just buy a roll of it from the dollar shop. Now this one here, you may have noticed that I used a rubber stamp on the back. So I've just printed out my cream version in the colour. I've got the tiniest little stamp here with some dots on it, and this one's got a straight line. I'm not going to put my lines all the way across. I'm going to block out just the edge. I'm also just going to put "This is my life" at the top of the jar, and I'm just going to stamp my little lines across there, and they're not going to stamp on the edge. And I'll take that off. It just, you know, it's just something that I fuss about. You don't have to have it, you know, blocked out. You can definitely stamp all the way to the edge. I've got a little hole mark there for you to follow. If I was to come in, punch that there, I know that it's not in the road at the back. Now I'm just going to show you some jars that I've embellished. This one here is the colour printed on the cream, and I've just used a little bit of sparkly washi and made a bow, so it's a 3-dimensional bow, and glued a little bit of lace and a paper flower on the front. This one here, I've tied some butcher's twine around the neck of the bottle. I've stamped the back, and I've added a flower on the front with the print. The cream cardstock again, I've just used embroidery floss to tie my bow. I've wrapped it around a few times. There's nothing on the back at this stage, and that's going to go in my box, and I can add to that if I need to. I've just glued a piece of like thicker rope on the top, and I've used some of Tracy Fox's little cutout labels, and I've added a little flower. This one here, I've printed in the colour on the cream again, and I've added a paper lace, and I've glued it as I've pleated it, so it's got a little ruffle. So you can use fabric or paper to do that. And then I've used a book page and cut it to shape to go around the top of the jar to make it just look like a tie. If you've got no string or ribbon, just use a book page and, you know, give the illusion that you've tied something around it. This is the cream again. This time I've used some coffee dyed paper and glued it on the back to give a different look again, and I've punched out a tiny hole and put that on there as a hole reinforcer, and the same on the front, and I've added a tiny miniature tag on the front with one of Tracy's little labels wrapped around it, another little label just partially cut out on the front, and another partial label on top of a black oval on the front. This one I've printed on a dark blue, and I've put a sticker on the front. Before I cut it out, I put this in my typewriter and I typed the word journey directly onto my sheet. So I will put my sheet in the typewriter like this before I cut it out. Then I've just thread through my butcher's twine in the hole and added a flower. So I've got another blue one here. I've just cut out a sticker and put on the front and cut out some words from a magazine. This is a handmade tiny little flower that I've punched out and put a liquid pearl on it a little bit of leftover rope from a tag and put that on there. There's nothing on the back. This one here, I've printed it out on the cream, but before I cut it out, I put one of Tracy's labels on the back. I glued it onto the back of the little jar. Then I cut it out. Then I've wrapped some string around it, but I've glued the string down. So instead of tying a bow, I've just glued it into the shape of a loop. So that's just given me another look for this tiny one. This one here has also just been wrapped around and then tied in a single knot, no bow, and then just glued into place. This one's a sticker that I got out of my little drawer. So these are the things that are small enough for me to add onto the back of this. I've got tons of these little stickers. So it's just a matter of trying to figure out where that is going to go. But just get the sticker on there the best that you can. And if you've already cut something out, it doesn't matter, just go around it. So adding a sticker to the back works really well. That's the one we done today in the demo. Just added the rub on and the string. And that's the one we done today as well, just adding the butcher's twine, ready to be used later. It's the one we done today using the washi tape. This one here is the base to add to later as well. Just a washi tape base. This one here needs to have some string added to it. I think a white string would look really good on this one. And what you can also do is, after you've done something like this and you go, well, I'm not sure about that butterfly, you can come along and you can change it. You can add a flower to it and just use that as a background, change it up, and you can add that to your journal and make it match in with whatever you've got at the time and change your mind. You're not locked in because they're just a background. And we've got the gold one where I add the paper lace sticker to that, and I can add a flower on that and use that as my embellishment. Add your little tags to another tag as an embellishment, or you can push a hole in it and swing it off the side of your journal. I don't think we can have too many embellishments. These two sheets you can make in so many different ways. Just change the colour of your paper, use a black printer or a colour printer, and you've got so many variations. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you on the next video. Ciao for now.